Okay, so hello everyone and welcome back to our video supplement. So this time we are now in the week 7 or the first module of your midterm. So we're done with the prelim module. At the same time is we're done also with the prelim examination. And today, during your our discussion, we will be discussing about the project management and information technology context. So yan. So nasa week 7 na tayo, and for those student who are not yet done taking their prelim examination, please settle your account and take your prelim examination. Hindi pa masyadong madami or hindi pa kompleto yung mga nag-exam sa akin ng prelim. So, kailangan makapag-exam na kayo ng prelim examination ninyo para sa ganun ay hindi kayo ma-delay doon sa mga deadlines ng mga requirements at saka yung pagkuha ng mga printed modules ninyo. Okay, so again, we are now in the week 7 in Introduction to Project Management. But before we proceed to, or before I am going to proceed to our discussion, may I just remind, so paulit-ulit na reminders ko ito. So for those students who are not yet done with the requirements, please submit all your requirements during your prelims so that you will be able to take your prelim examinations. Okay? So, yan. So, iwasan natin yung nade-delay tayo ng pag-submit ng mga requirements para sa ganun ay hindi tayo ma-delay or para hindi tayo madaganan or matabunan ng madaming requirements. So, kagaya ng sinasabi ko na last semesters, ang nangyari is nagpakampante yung mga students. So, nangyari is natambakan or nadaganan sila ng mga or natabunan sila ng mga requirements kaya nahirapan silang mag-cope up. Okay, so yun yung iniiwasan natin. And one more thing is, every time you watch or listen to our supplemental video, make sure that you have with you your printed module. Okay, so dapat sinasabayan nyo din yung discussion ko dyan sa printed modules ninyo. Because your printed modules, that would serve as your guide while listening or while you are watching this supplemental video. Yan. So, next is we have yung mga students who are not yet a member of our group chat. Please approach me or chat me through my personal messenger so that I will add you dun sa group chat natin. Okay? So, yan. And kasi yung group chat natin is importante na member kayo doon or kasali kayo doon kasi doon ako nag-disseminate ng mga information, mga announcement. At the same time, doon din ako nagsisend ng mga link ng mga supplemental videos. So, ulitin ko lang is sana recall that one, manood kayo ng mga supplemental videos or mga recorded supplemental videos kasi it really helps you a lot guys to understand better the printed module that you have. So, pag may time kayo, pag di kayo busy, sana mapanood ninyo yung mga supplemental or recorded videos na sinesend namin sa inyo. So, isipin nyo na lang yung effort namin na nagre-record tapos wala pa lang nanonood or nakikinig. So, gawin nyo naman sana yung part nyo as a student which is to listen or watch those supplemental videos. Kasi nga hindi lang naman basta-basta yung mga supplemental videos na yun. Sa kagaya ng sinabi ko, sobrang nakakatulong ito sa inyo para maintindihan palalo yung mga printed module na meron sa inyo. Okay? So, yan. So those are my friendly reminders and I hope na ginagawa ninyo yung mga reminders na yon kasi makakatulong din naman or para din naman sa inyo yung mga yon. Again, so here in Introduction to Management, we'll be discussing about the project management in information technology context, and we are now in the week 7 or the first module of your midterm. So today's learning objectives. So at the end of the lesson, you will be able to describe the you will be able to describe or you will be able to learn or a learner should be able to describe the system's view of project management and how it applies to information technology projects, and identify the 10 characteristics of organizational culture and explain what is organization, including the four frames: organizational structure and organizational culture. So those are our learning objectives for today's topic. So ulitin ko is we'll be discussing a project management in information technology context. So as a system view of project management, so even though our projects are temporary and intended to provide a unique product or mga services, you cannot run project isolations. So pagka yung projects managers is nag-lead siya ng projects in isolation, it is unlikely that those projects will ever truly serves the needs of yung organization. So therefore, yung mga project is must operate in a broad organizational environment. At saka yung mga project managers is kailangan din nilang i-consider yung projects within dun sa greater organizational context. So to handle this complex situation effectively, yung mga project managers is kailangan nilang mag-take or they have to take a holistic view doon sa may project at saka intindihin kung paano siya or how it relates to the larger organization. So we have the thinking or the system thinking, which is ito yung tinatawag nilang dinidescribe niya yung holistic view of carrying out dun sa projects within doon sa may context of the organization. Okay, so that is the system view of the project management. Okay, so next we have here the what is a system approach. So ano nga ba tong system approach na to? So, yung term systems approach is emerged noong 1950s para ma-describes yung holistic and yung analytical approach to solving a complex problems, which is include yung paggamit ng mga systems philosophy, mga systems analysis, at saka yung system management. Okay? So when we say a system philosophy, it is an overall model for thinking about things as systems. Okay? So yun na yung overall model dun sa paano natin isipin or pag-isipan yung mga bagay na kailangan nating gawin para maging sistema. Okay, so yan. And we have also the systems. So, systems are set of interacting components working within environment para ma-fulfill nila yung kanilang purpose. Okay? So, yan. So, for example, is the human body is a system composed alam naman natin na composed of many subsystems. So, you have yung nervous system, yung skeletal system, yung ano pa ba, yung mga circulatory systems, yung digestive system, at saka iba pa. Okay? So, those are the system which is they have their purpose kung bakit sila or they have their purpose here in our body or okay? So, yan. Next is we have system analysis. So when we say system analysis is a system a problem solving approach that requires a defining the scope of the system. So dividing into its components and then identifying and evaluating its problems. So you have your opportunities, yung constraints, at saka yung mga kailangan or yung mga needs. Okay? So, yun. So, once this is completed, sana, so yung system analysis, then i-examine niya yung alternative solution for improving yung current situations and yung i-identifies niya yung optimum, at least a satisfactory, yung solution or yung action plan, and ina-examine niya din yung plan against the entire system. Okay? So, next is we have the system management. So, hindi ko kasi nailagay dyan. I'm so sorry. So, meron din tayong system management. So, yung system management is addresses the business. You have yung technological and yung organizational issue which is associated with creating, yung pag-maintain, and of course, yung making changes doon sa my system. Okay? So, yan. Next is you have So yan, so that is for the system approach. So using yung system approach natin is ito siyang isa siyang critical to success project management. So you have yung top management and yung project managers is kailangan i-follow nila yung systems philosophy para mas maintindihan nila kung paano yung projects is relate doon sa whole organization. So, kailangan nilang gumamit ng system analysis para ma-address yung kung ano yung mga kailangan doon sa problem-solving approach. So, they must use a systems management para ma-identify din nila para ma-identify nila yung key business, you have yung technological and yung organizational issues which is related doon sa my project para for them for in order for them to identify and satisfy yung key stakeholders and do what is best para dun sa entire organizations. So, kailangan importante yung mga yan, yung mga system approach natin, yung mga how do you call that one, yung mga system analysis natin, yung system management. Okay? So, yan. So, we have also here the three spear model for systems management. So, there you go. So, maraming mga business and mga information technology students is naiintindihan nila yung concepts ng system and yung performing system analysis. So, however, they often gloss over dun sa topics of the system management. So, the simple idea of addressing yung three spheres of system management, business, you have the organization, yung technology, has a huge impact dun sa pag-select nila or pag-manage nila ng project successfully. Okay? So, yan. So, we have here the figure. So, as you can see there in the figure, provide niya yung sample of some of the business, organizational, and yung mga technological issues that could be a factors doon sa my laptop projects. So, in this case is yung mga technological issues, though not as simple by any means, are probably the least difficult to identify and difficult to identify and to resolve. So, however, yung mga projects is kailangan ma-address yung mga issue in all dito sa may three spheres natin or three spheres of the system management model natin. So, you have there the business and the organization technology. So, in the business, we have there. So, what will the laptop project cost the college? And then next is, what will it cost students? So, yan. So, and what will support cost be? And next is, what will the impact be on enrollment? So, yan. So, and we have the technology. Should the laptops use Macintosh, Windows, or both types of operating systems? So, yung mga gagamitin mo ba is na laptop is ang gagamitin nilang operating system nila is you have Macintosh, yung Windows, or yung both operating system or dual operating system ba? Or next is what application software will be loaded or gagamitin sana or ano yung majority na gagamitin na software. Then, what will the hardware specification be? So, ano ba yung specification ng hardware mo or yung laptop mo? Is it iCore 3, Pentium, iCore 5? So, yan. And then, next is, how will the hardware impact LAN and internet access? Or you have your local area network or yung internet access ninyo. So, yan. And for the organization, will the laptop project affect all students, just traditional student, or only certain majors? So, yan. So, when we say traditional students, is yung mga hindi na kailangan ng laptop pag nag-research or they prefer to go in the library and find a books which is related dun sa my projects nila. Okay? And how will the projects affect students who already have PCs or laptops? So, paano nga ba nakakatulong sana yung project doon sa mga estudyanteng meron ng laptop or meron ng mga computers sa bahay or meron na silang mga sarili-sariling computer or laptop? And who will train students, faculty, and staff? So, sa organization, so who will be the one to train the students, yung mga faculty and mga staff? 'di ba? So siguro mga IT experts siguro or yung mga experts sa mga projects, yan, or mga nakapag-develop na or nakapag-experience na on how to build or create a projects or develop a projects. So yan. So who will administer and support training? So sino yung mga magkakandak ng training for the student or for the faculty or staff? So sino yung magpapaseminar sa kanila? So pwede sa outsider siguro na mga IT expert or yung mga from the DOST, yan. So yan yung mga experts sa mga technology or sa mga tao or mga iba pang nakapag-develop na ng mga project or nakapag-propose na ng mga projects. Yan. Okay? And so although it is very easy to focus on the immediate and sometimes narrow concerns of particular projects. So mga project managers and other staff is kailangan nilang ilagay sa kanilang isipan yung epekto ng kahit anong projects on the interest and the needs of the entire system or organization. So karamihan sa mga information technology professionals is become uh, captivated doon sa may technology and day-to-day problem solving which is involved in working with information systems. So they tend to become frustrated with many of the people problems or yung mga politics involved doon sa usually sa lahat ng mga organizations. So in addition, karamihan sa mga or madami sa mga information technology professionals ini-ignore nila yung important business issues such as yung does it make financial sense to pursue this new technology or should the company develop this software in-house or purchase it off the shelf. So using a more holistic approach is tinutulungan niya din yung mga project managers para to integrate business and organizational issues in their planning. So tinutulungan din niya yung mga project managers to look or uh, to how do you call it, to look at projects as a serves or interrelated phases. So when you integrate business and organizational issues dun sa may project management planning and of course look at a project as a series of interrelated phases, you do a better job or ensuring a project success or magiging successful yung dinedevelop mong project. Okay? So yan. So those are the three spheres of a three-sphere model for system management. So you have the organization, the business, and the technology. Okay, so next slide is we have here the understanding the organizations. So yung system approach natin is nire-require niya na dapat yung project managers is kailangan always view their projects in the context of the larger organization. So, yung mga organizational issues are often the most, ito yung pinaka-difficult part dun sa working or dun sa pagplaplano or pag ginagawa mo na yung project or pagmamanage dun sa project. So, for example, maraming mga tao na naniniwala na most of the project nafe-fail siya kasi nga because of company politics. So, yung mga project managers is often do not spend enough time doon sa pag-identify or time in identifying all the holders which is involved doon sa my projects. So, especially yung mga taong opposed doon sa my projects. So, yan. So, we have here the four frames of organization. So, we have the structural frame, you have the human resources frame or yung HR frame natin. We have the political frame and the symbolic frame. Okay? So, yan. So, organization can be viewed as having four different frames like the structural, you have human resources, political, and you have the symbolic. So, dito sa may structural frame. So, yan. So, let me just check. Okay. So, dito sa may structural frame natin, so, ito is, it deals with how or kung paano yung organization is structured. So, usually, ito is depicted doon sa may organizational chart. And, of course, focuses doon sa may different group roles and responsibility in order to meet the goals and policies set by the top management. So yung mga organizational chart natin, those pwedeng yun yung structural frame. So makikita mo doon kung ano yung function. Kunwari ako, function ko, ako ay isang IT advisor, the same time is IT instructor. Si Sir Dante naman is kunwari sa IT department, si Ma'am Sherry naman is siya yung program head, and si Sir Dante siya yung uh, computer custodian natin. Yan. So, yung may mga kanya-kanya mga functions. So, si Ma'am Norge is siya yung school nurse natin para sa ganun ay makapag-focus sila or in order to para ma-meet nila yung goals nila or policies nila, which is sinet ng top management. So, itong frame na to is very rational and focuses doon sa may coordination and yung control. So, for example, doon sa within the structural frame, so yung key information technology issue is whether yung company should centralize the information technology personnel in one department or pwedeng i-decentralize niya across yung several departments. Okay? So, kagaya sa amin na may mga kanya-kanyang department kami. So, you have the IT department, the criminology department, you have the BISOA department, yung HRM departments, yan. So, pwede lang yon. So, next is we have the human resources. So, yan. So, for the human resources, ito naman is focuses on producing harmony between doon sa kailangan ng organization and yung kung kailangan at saka yung mga kailangan ng mga tao. So, it recognizes that there are often mismatches between doon sa kailangan ng organization at kailangan ng every individual and groups and works to resolve any potential problems. So, for example, is marami sa mga projects might be more efficient doon sa may organization pagka yung personnel is nag-work sila 80 or more hours a week for several months. Okay, so this work schedule would probably conflict with the personal lives of the people. So yung important issues is information technology is related to the human resources frame. So are the shortage of skilled information technology, which is our workers within the organization, and the unrealistic schedules imposed on many projects. So parang siguro magiging success or matatapos mo siguro on time yung projects mo pagka kunwari is pagka or magiging efficient sana yung projects mo dun sa organization pagka yung mga nagtatrabaho is they work talaga na 80 siguro kunwari in a day is 8 hours a day. So meron kasi yung ibang tao na or nagtatrabaho na sige, okay lang magse-cellphone muna sila or they do other things sana, which is hindi siya related dun sa project sana na ginagawa nila. So, mas may business silang iba. So, hindi na sila nag-work as 8 hours a day. Doon sana sa dapat. Okay? So, yan. So, parang kayo na if you will not going to manage your time in doing your module, for sure is hindi nyo mamimit yung deadline na date. So, imagine nyo lang na 7 modules in a week. So, you will be given 1 week to accomplish all the requirements. So, pwedeng morning and afternoon you can do, or in a day you can do 3 modules or requirements or 2 requirements, enough na yun para matapos nyo. Pero kung hayaan mo na hindi ka makapagtapos ng isang module mo in a day, so hindi magiging productive yung araw mo or hindi mo ma-meet yung deadline ng date ng mga requirements. Okay? So yan. So next is we have the political frame. So ito naman, yung political frame na ito is addresses yung organizational at saka yung mga personal polities. So yan. So yung politics doon sa may organizations take the form of competition among dun sa group or dun sa every individual for power and leadership. So yung political frame is assumes that yung organization are coalitions composed of varied individuals and interest groups. So, often important decision is kailangan para of course to be made on the allocation of scarce resources. So, yung competition for scarce resources is makes conflict a central issue in organizations. And of course, power improves the ability to obtain yung scarce resources. So, yung mga project managers is kailangan nilang mag-pay ng attention dun sa may politics and power if they are to be effective or para kunwari, how do you call that one? Yung mga project managers natin is kailangan nila na as I said a while ago na mag-pay ng attention dun sa may politics and dun sa power if they are to be effective na project managers. So it's very important na malaman mo who opposes your projects as well as who support them. So, kailangan as a project managers is kailangan mo na malaman kung sino yung may disagree dun sa project mo or sino yung mga sumusuporta dun sa mga projects mo. Okay? So, yan. So, yung mga important issues is information technology related to the political frame or the power shifts from central function doon sa may operating units or from functional managers to project managers. Okay? So, that is a political frame. So, for the last one is you have the symbolic frame. So, when we say symbolic frames, of course, it focuses on the symbols. Tama ba ako? And of course, yung meaning. Okay, so what is most important about any event in an organization is not what actually happened. So, hindi yun yung importante or but what it means. So, for example is, yung kunwari yung foundation natin, 'di ba? So, hindi importante kung ano yung nangyari dun sa foundation natin or what are our event during our foundations. Ang pinaka-importante talaga doon, ano ang ibig sabihin kung bakit sineselebrate natin yung event na yon? Ano ang ibig sabihin kung bakit natin ginawa or nag-conduct ng ganong foundation day? Okay? So, yun, para mabigyang pugay kung kailan na-build or na-develop yung school natin. Diba? So, parang ganun. So, parang kung tao sana is they will celebrate their birthday. So, hindi naman importante yung nangyari na naghanda ka ng lechon baboy, nagpa-video okay ka, nagpakain ka ng ng spaghetti, nag-invite ka ng madaming bisita. Hindi naman yun yung mahalaga kung ano yung nangyari. So, what is important is yung meaning kung bakit sinelebrate mo yon. So, you celebrate kasi nga, maybe, gusto mo it's Thanksgiving na nabigyan ka naman ulit ng panibagong buhay, na nadagdagan ka na naman ng isang taon to para ma-enjoy yung life mo. So, yun. Okay? So, yan. So, what is a good sign that the CEO came to a kick-off meeting for a project? Or what is a dress? So, yung symbolic frame also relates to the company's culture. So, how do people dress? So, how many hours do they work? O yan. So, paano ba manamit yung mga tao? So, ilang oras ba yung pagtatrabaho ng mga nagtatrabaho sa company mo? Or how do they run meetings? So, many information technology projects are international and include yung stakeholders from various cultures. So, understanding those culture is also a crucial part of the symbolic frame. So, yan. So, understanding those cultures, di ba, yung ikaw na lang yung nag-a-adjust kasi nga, so parang sa school natin is ang dami nating mga students natin during the face-to-face is, di ba, yung pag first day in school, you're going to getting to know each other sana na okay ikaw, so I am ganito ganyan, I am from Pasil or Tanudan, Taluktok, mga ganun. So, yan, yung mga estudyante na yan is hindi magkakaiba yung mga culture yung mga yan. So, siguro yung pananamit niya is ganun kasi ganun yung uso sa kanila or ganun yung tradition nila on how they dress. So, o yung the way kung paano sila magsalita, 'di ba? So, meron yung napapansin mo pa rin yung accent nila na nakakaiba. So, wala tayong magagawa. So, you have to adjust or respect their culture kasi yun yung way kung paano sila magsalita. Yung language ay yung dialect nila. So, yan. 'Di ba hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin na, baguhin mo yung accent mo kasi ang pangit-pangit. Hindi naman po pwede yon, 'di ba? So, you have to respect the culture of each and everyone. Para sa ganun ay kung gusto mo ding marespeto, konting respeto rin sa culture. So, hindi naman tayo pare-pareho ng culture or kung saan tayo lumaki. Kaya nga 'di ba, dito sa Kalinga is, yun kailangan alamin mo kung ano yung mga culture, especially sa mga Upper Kalinga, 'di ba? Nakakatakot sila. So, yan. So, anyways, okay lang yan. Next is we have the organizational structure. So, many discussion of organizations focus doon sa may organizational structure. So, the three general classification of the organizational structures as you have yung functional, you have the project, and you have the matrix. Okay? So, yan. So, most companies today involve lahat yung mga three structures somewhere in the organization. Pero, one is usually most common. So, as you can see, ang alam kong pinaka-common dyan is yung functional. Functional, tama? Yan. So, mga functional structure. Yeah. Yan. So as you can see, yung functional organizational structure is the hierarchy most people think of when picturing an organizational chart. So, yung functional managers or yung mga vice president in a specialty such as yung mga engineering, mga manufacturing, information technology, and human resource report to the chief executive officer or yung CEO. So, yung mga staff nila have specialized skills in their respective disciplines. So, for example, most of your colleagues and universities have very strong functional organizations. So, only faculty in the business department teach business courses. So, faculty in the history department teach history. So, faculty in the art department teach art. So, pero di naman ako masyadong ganun dito. Sang-ayon dito kasi nga paano ka dito hindi naman sa against ako dito pero meron kasi yung mga dito sa school kasi natin is kunwari ako IT department, hindi naman ako hindi naman lahat na tinuturo ko is talagang para sa mga IT department. So, hindi, di ba? So, kagaya ngayon, itong subject nyo na Introduction to Project Management, this is for the BISOA department. So, yan. So, ang dami kong natututunan actually na hindi lang yung mga IT subjects yung tinuturo ko, meron din sa mga HRM, you have the BISOA department, so yan. So, matututunan mo din naman yung isang bagay pagka na-experience mo. No? So, dati, nung binigay sa akin yung load na ito is, sabi ko sa sarili ko is, parang wala naman akong alam sa mga topic when it comes to the BISOA department. So, yun. So, I tried, then, dun yun, ang dami kong natutunan na, ganito pala, ganito pala. So, yun. So, alam niyo naman, si Ma'am GOG is, she is pushing us na hindi lang yan yung dapat pag-aralan mo, you have to explore. So, yan. So, actually, yun, kaya binigyan kami ng mga chance din na ito, ganito, ganyan, ituro mo to kasi yan, alam kong kaya mo yan. So, yan. So, even Ma'am Eva na from general subject lang sana, may mga criminology subject din siya. So, yan. Okay? So, that is for the organizational structures. Next is we have the project organizational structure. Okay? So, yan. So, for the project organizational structure, okay, so let me check my time. Okay, so also has a hierarchical structure, but instead of functional managers or vice president reporting to the CEO, so you have the program managers report to the CEO. So instead na yung vice president nang mag-report dun sa may chief executive officer natin, so ang nagre-report na is you have the project managers. So nire-report niya dun sa may CEO. So their staff have a variety of skills needed to complete the projects within their programs. So, yung mga organization na gumagamit ng itong structures na ito is earns their revenue primarily from performing projects for other groups under yung contract. So for example, many defense, you have yung mga architectural, you have the engineering, and yung consulting company is gumagamit ng project organizational structure. So itong mga company na ito is often hire people specifically to work on a particular project. Okay? So yan. Next is you have the organizational culture. So just as an organization's structure affect its ability to manage projects, so does an organization's culture. So yung organizational culture is a set of shared assumption, yung values, yan, yung behaviors that characterize the functioning of an organization. So managers report to the CEO. So yan. So behavior. So kagaya nga dito sa Kalinga, sabi ko, is hindi pare-pareho yung attitude. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na ganun ha. So especially sa alam naman natin, based from my own experience kasi is iba-iba kasi yung attitude ng from the Lower Kalinga and kami sa Cagayan kasi is iba-iba yung attitude ng from Cagayan and yung sa mga tao sa Kalinga. So, di ba usually, especially mga upper Kalinga, yung mga, hindi ko alam kung anong tawag sa kanila, yung mga mabilis magalit pag nasaktan mo lang sila or whatever. So, yun, uso sa kanila yung tribal war. So, yan. So, that's their culture. Hindi naman natin pwedeng i-stop or hindi naman pwede nating sabihin na itigil nyo yan kasi that is their culture. Yan yung kinalakihan nila. Okay, so yan. So, kaya minsan, nung nasa Cagayan ako, yan. So, medyo natatakot kami sa mga taga-Kalinga. So, yan. So, anyways, nung andito naman na ako is, okay naman sila. Okay sila, yung mga taga-Tabuk. Ewan ko lang sa mga taga-Upper Kalinga. So, yan. So, pero naririnig, so, pero may mga tao din naman na from Upper Kalinga na okay sila. So, siguro yung mga ganun lang. Some parts of Upper Kalinga siguro. So, yan. So here in the organizational culture is it often includes elements of all our four frames which is described previously or kanina. So yung organizational culture natin is very powerful. And tsaka karamihan sa mga tao or people is believe na yung underlying causes of many companies' problems are not in the organization structures or dun sa mga staff. So they are in the culture. So minsan sa isang organization is ang nagiging problema is hindi naman talaga sa how do you call that one? Dun sa structure or dun sa staff. Minsan kasi is may mga behavior din kasi di ba magkakaiba talaga yung culture ng isang kunwari sa isang organization is ang problema dun is hindi yung staff. So ibig sabihin is yung culture. Diba? Yung culture minsan yung nagiging problema. Hindi sila nagkakaintindihan kasi ganito yung pinaniniwalaan nila. So for example, Cagayan sana and taga-Cagayan tsaka taga-Kalinga. So syempre iba yung paniniwala ni taga-Kalinga tsaka iba din yung paniniwala ni taga-Cagayan. Kaya yun yung nagiging problem or yun nagiging conflict. Okay? So yan. So it is very important to note that the same organization can have different subculture. So yung Information Technology Department may have the different organizational culture doon sa my finance department. So for example, some organizational cultures make it easier to manage projects. So according to Stephen P. Robbins and Timothy Judge, so authors of a popular textbooks on organizational behavior, there are 10 characteristics of organizational culture. So first, if you have the member identity. So when we say member identity, ito yung degree to which employees ina-identify nila with the organization as a whole rather than with their type of job or profession. So for example, sana yung project manager or yung team member might feel more dedicated to his or her company or project team than doon sa may job or doon sa profession niya. Or they might not have any loyalty to a particular company or team. So as you can guess, an organizational structure or organizational culture not have any loyalty to a particular company or doon sa may organizational culture where employees identify more with the whole organization are more conducive to a good project culture. Okay? So yan. Next is we have the group emphasis. So yan, so the degree to which work activities are organized around doon sa may groups or doon sa may team. So rather than doon sa may individual. So yung organizational culture is ina-emphasize niya yung group work is best for managing projects. So dito naman sa group emphasis is ina-emphasize niya na maganda yung para maging successful yung project is kailangan maganda yung group ninyo or yung pakikisama ninyo as a group or work as a group. Okay? So yan. Next is we have people focus. So when we say people focus is ito yung degree to which management decision take into account the effect of outcomes on the people within the organization. So yung mga project manager is pwede siyang mag-assign ng mga certain tasks tasks dun sa certain people without considering their individual needs, or the project managers might know each person very well. So kailangan alam mo din yung bawat tao mo. So, kunwari, si Shannon, kung saan siya pwedeng magaling. So, si David, kung saan siya pwedeng magaling, di ba? So, kailangan kilalanin mo or alam mo yung skills or capabilities ng bawat katao mo. Next is we have the unit integration. So, the degree to which units or department within dun sa may organization are encouraged to coordinate with each other. So, most project managers strive for strong unit integration para ma-deliver nila yung successful product or service or yung result. Okay? So, yung organizational culture with strong unit integration, managers' job easier. Okay? So, yan. Next is we have the control. So, yun, the degree to which rules, policies, and direct supervision to oversee and control employee behavior. Experienced project managers know it is often best to balance the degree of control to get good projects. So, yun. So, kailangan ikaw is hindi pwedeng dapat kontrolado or pantay-pantay yung tingin mo. So, yung rules mo, hindi pwedeng, kunwari, yung rules mo sana is pwede sa ganito, pwede kay David, tapos hindi pwede kay Shannon. So, kailangan pantay-pantay. You have to be fair. Okay, so walang bias dapat. Next is you have the risk tolerance, the degree to which employees are encouraged being aggressive, innovative, and risking seeking. So an organizational culture with a higher risk tolerance is often best for project management since project often involve new technologies, ideas, and processes. So yan. The next is the reward criteria. So, ito na, di ba? So, the degree to which rewards such as promotion and salary increase are allocated according to employee performance rather than the seniority, favoritism, or other non-performance factors. So, yan. So, kailangan, pagka itong reward criteria, pag promote mo sana yung isang employee mo, or nag-salary increase ka hindi dahil sa favorite mo siya, lagi mo siyang nakikita, or pinagtitimpla ka ng kape. Hindi. So, dapat, pag nag-promote ka, or nag-salary increase ka is depende, dapat naka-base siya dun sa performance niya. Okay? So, you have to be fair. Hindi siya maging bias or favoritism. Okay? Or dahil sa, senior citizen na yan, kailangan i-promote na natin. So, hindi. So, kahit maganda pa yan, mayaman pa yan, kung yung performance niya naman is hindi pasok dun dun sa may reward criteria, ay hindi po pwede yan. Next is you have the conflict tolerance. So, the degree to which employees are encouraged to air conflicts and criticism openly. So, it's very important na lahat ng mga project stakeholders have their good communication. So, it is best to work doon sa my organization where people feel comfortable discussing conflict openly. So, yan. So, means ends orientation. So, next. So, ibig sabihin, the degree to which management focuses on outcomes rather than on the techniques and processes used to achieve result. So, yung organization with a balanced approach in this area is often best for project work. And for the last one is you have the open system focus. So, ito is the degree to which the organization monitors and responds to change in the external environment. So, projects are part of larger organizational environment, so it is best to have a strong open systems focus. Okay, so that is for the open system focus. So as you can see, there is a definite relationship between dun sa may organizational culture natin tsaka dun sa successful project management natin. So project work is yun yung pinaka most successful in an organizational culture, wherein yung employees natin is wherein employees identify more with the organization, where work activities emphasize groups, and where there is strong unit integration. So you have the high risk tolerance, performance based rewards, high conflict tolerance, and yung open systems focus, and saka yung balance focus sa on people control and means orientation. Okay, so that's it for today. And I hope you understand our topic for today. And if you have a questions, point of clarification, please do not hesitate to ask me through my personal messenger. Okay? So yan. And for your requirements, for the first requirements or for your week 7 requirements in midterm, so for activity number 1, that is multiple choice or choices. So you will going to read the questions carefully and choose the best answer and write it on a yellow sheet of paper. Okay? And for your activity number 2, you will going to answer each of the following in 10 to 15 sentences. So for question number 1, differentiate functional, matrix, and project organizations. So describe how each structure affects the management of the project. And for number 2, describe how organizational structure is related to project management. And for the last one, how does organizational culture affect project management? So that is for your week 7 activity or requirements. So again, I will be expecting you to submit your requirements anytime this week. And please, panoorin yung mga videos namin. So hindi lang sana ito yung papanoorin nyo. I hope na manood pa kayo or makinig pa kayo sa mga susunod pang mga video supplement namin. Okay? So yan. So thank you so much, guys. Yan, sorry. So thank you so much for listening for today's topic. And I hope na makinig pa kayo sa susunod na topic natin. Okay? So yan. So mag-iingat tayo. Lagi, always keep your immune system strong. Always wear your face mask or your face shield when you go out. And then wash your hands. Mag-sanitize kayo. Yan. And maintain social distancing, especially sa mga crowded places. Okay, so thank you so much and God bless us all.